scenarios of, oh, teenagers are just experimenting or it's just a phase, whereas when you hit a certain age, I think parents have had more time to let it sink in with them, but also you're older and you see a change in the person when they become an adult. My name's Sam and I'm 20 years old.
Call me T.
T? Alright. Do you know anything about the LGBT community?
I know a bit, but not enough.
Do you know about the LGBT community?
Yes, I do.
Do you know what it stands for?
It stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans.
Do you know about gender fluidity?
I know a tiny bit. Yeah, like I said, not enough.
Are you aware of gender fluidity?
Semi-aware.
Can you explain what gender fluidity is in your own words?
It's when you feel your gender change across the spectrum, so you wake up in the morning like, you know that you're Kim.
Yeah.
I have to decide whether I'm Tory, Tarquin, T, and it depends on how you feel. Like, I could wake up and try to put on a dress and I feel like really awkward, I feel like a bit trapped, or then I can put like on a pair of like jeans or joggers and like a shirt and I feel better and I know that, okay, well I'm not Tory today. And then if I put on like makeup and it feels unnatural, I'm just like, no, and I'm like, okay, then I'm completely masculine today. Or how I like carry myself and how I like walk or talk and stuff, it changes, but it can change throughout the day as well. So I had one example of, I put on a dress and felt Tory for that day. I went to my nan's and completely changed halfway through and I was stuck like being Tarquin in a dress and it was just really upsetting. My dad doesn't know, because I don't want him to know, because he's so old-fashioned. He'd be like, oh, what the hell is that, and stuff like that. But my mum, she found out properly when I was in a meeting with college saying that I need a male and a female uniform. I can't just be one or the other, and I was explaining it more to them. And I started crying and stuff, and mum was like, how can I get her a male uniform? And I was like, yes, mum.
Were you young when you discovered your sexuality?
15? It's not that young, but youngish. Yeah, I was 15.
When you finally discovered your true sexuality, what were your thoughts about coming out to the people close to you?
Very scared. No, I was, what, about coming out to family? Very scared. I wasn't sure on how to do it, because obviously you don't know parents and things' reactions. But yeah, I was very scared. It's a lot easier than I thought, but...
How do you personally feel about the LGBT community?
I feel it's good. It's good to be true to you and not what people want you to be. If you want to be one thing and society wants you to be another, you should ignore society and be yourself.
What are your feelings towards homosexuality in the LGBT community?
Feel like let everyone be who they want to be. Don't judge anyone for it.
Do you know anyone who is part of the LGBT community?
Yes, I do, quite a few people.
How do you stand in the LGBT community? What would you identify as? Would you identify yourself as bisexual?
Gender fluid is like part of the transgender, so it's transgender fluid. And then my sexuality is like pansexual, because I love anyone and everyone.
What challenges do you face, like hate and things like that, or people not understanding?
People going like, well, it doesn't exist, all these different genders don't exist. And it's like, yes it does. No, male or female, like that's your sex, not your gender. And then there's people like, they just give you all sorts of crap for it for no reason, and you have to deal with dysphoria as well, of like not knowing who you are every day, and well, it can happen every day. I've had it for about a month now that I don't know which one I am, so I'm just stuck like being nothing at the moment, and it does really depress you and can make you really anxious and stuff. But
do you think that society is doing anything to promote gender fluidity and educate people about it?
Not really. I don't think many people really know what it is. The only reason I know about it is because I know some people who are on the internet.
What do you feel about the hate towards the LGBT community?
I think it's unneeded. I don't think one person identifying as a certain thing should hurt other people. So I don't know why people hate against that.
What is your opinion on Facebook giving the people the option to not be known as a specific gender when they sign up?
I'm not sure, it's quite a touchy subject for Facebook to do.
What was it like coming out?
Scary. A lot of crying. It was hard. It was easier to tell my nan than it was to tell my mum. But yeah, scary, crying, but yeah.
Have you found it easy being yourself?
Yes. Not at first, but yes, I have now.
What were your thoughts about same-sex marriage being made legal?
Go for it, yeah. I was very for it.
We would be, yeah. Do you feel like your sexuality has caused people to treat you differently?
Yes. Not in a bad way. Not in a bad way, sorry. Not in a bad way, but yeah, people have treated me differently since.
Do you have any examples you'd like to talk about, or would you rather not?
I don't really know. The best way to describe it is things being more real, if that makes sense. So, the easiest way to describe it, but I don't mean it in a literal sense, is your friendships with people. So, for example, your best friend friendship. It seemed like an easier or real friendship when they found out. Not that it wasn't a real friendship before, but I don't know. That might have something to do with you being more comfortable in who you are,
Yeah.
as opposed to them being more comfortable with you. But yeah.
So you're saying you felt more relaxed with your friends?
Yeah. I think that's what I'm getting at.
Would you have any advice or tips to give to people who are too afraid to come out as homosexual or gender fluid?
Yeah. If you are, then do it. I mean, most people will accept you, and the people that don't accept you aren't they're not worth your friendship. I mean, if your best friend doesn't accept you being gay, then they're not really your best friend. So I just think, be open, be yourself.
How do you feel about people who are against the LGBT community and gender fluidity?
I feel like they're being a bit immature and they're stuck in old days. And they need to understand that people are who they are and they should accept that.
If someone was afraid to be honest about their sexuality, what would you say to them?
I tell them there's nothing to be afraid of. They should just be who they are and accept that. And if people judge them, then they're not people that they need to have in their lives.
But in my opinion, particularly my parents grew up in a time where it was more and more accepted than it was. And yes, they wouldn't have understood, but at the same time, I think every parent, regardless whether they're fine with it or not, will always have a thought of, it's not going to be the traditional marriage, it's not going to be the traditional man-wife marriage, children sort of thing. Not to say that you can't have children, but I think each parent has that thought in their head, whether they agree with it or not, that's not going to happen.
Okay. Would you give any tips to the people who are confused about their sexuality or are scared to come out and tell people who they really are?
Do it. I haven't got any advice in the sense apart from the fact of just do it. It's a horrible thing to have to do and it's a very scary thing, but if you don't do it, it's going to bottle up and bottle up and bottle up and for years.
Yeah.
And then it's harder it becomes, but if you just do it, I'm not going to lie, it's hard at first, but then it's not. That's my advice.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
What advice would you give people who are struggling with it themselves, who have only just discovered that they are gender fluid?
Well, if I know who they are, then come to me, obviously. I found that being added to lots of like groups on Facebook helped as well, because my friend added me to like gender fluid geeks, like there's a Hogwarts LGBT page, and there's all sorts, like all these private groups, and there's just thousands of people on there that are the same as you, and they make you feel all like welcome. Like I can put pictures up there saying, oh, I'm having a really bad day of dysphoria, and it'll get like 100 likes and like comments saying you're okay, you'll be alright. And there's people like Chrysalis, they help transgender people in like a kind of CAM sort of way, like they have support groups and things. There's that, and just talking to people really, or like if you feel a bit stuck not knowing which one, then put both together, make your own looks and stuff. It makes it work. Like wear a tutu and have a beard, whatever you want.
Be fabulous.
Be fabulous.
What would you say to someone that didn't understand it as much and is stuck in like their opinion?
See, I either try to explain it to them more and get them to kind of see and understand how I think, but if they really don't get it, we just kind of give up with them really. Like, you're like, okay, whatever, believe what you want. And like me and my friend do Skype, we just don't mention it to each other. We keep it out of conversation and talk about stuff we do get on with. But if I was like dressed as one or the other and they made a comment or called me the wrong name, I'd still be like, kind of can't do this to me. So anyway, you just kind of have to work things out with people who don't like it, or remove them from life.
Anything else you would like to say that you want people to know about gender fluids? Or?
That it's not made up. It does exist. There is not just one gender, and we are fabulous people.